Hi, good evening, and thank you so much for joining me on this live stream on Lila Matam's TV on Facebook. There's quite an interesting topic that is going around news, which I'd like to just talk about these things. For those of you who've known me since YouTube days of 2020, these are some of the things that I used to discuss on my Facebook and YouTube channel, just discussing some political issues that are going on. And this topic is very interesting because these are some of the things that we have been expecting the UPND government to do for the past, how many years now? They went into power in 2021, August 2021, 2, 3, 4. So it's been 3 years. And finally, something is happening of great significance. So I came across news posts and images of some very beautiful property which belongs to this beautiful young lady named Chiyeso Lungu. So according to Kalemba, Kalemba has stated that Chiyeso Lungu's properties have been forfeited and they will now become a rehab center. Congratulations. Well done. And I'll tell you why I'm clapping. Okay, so former president of Zambia, Dr. Edgar has a beautiful daughter named Chiyeso, and she looks like that. Beautiful, yeah, and she's a lawyer, and presently she had some issues going on in court where they were discussing, and this is important for the young people to come to terms and understanding what's going on, because anything that happens in the news is not something that you should ignore, but it should be something that you should look at for the future. If the leadership presently are doing this, what about the previous? Were they doing the same? And we do our checks and balances. So in this case, there has been properties worth 9 million kwacha, 9.3. Some articles are saying 9.3. Some articles are saying 9 million kwacha, which have been forfeited to the state by the Economic and Financial Crimes Court as proceeds of crimes. So Chiyeso Lungu went to court. She was being interrogated. She was asked questions about the properties which she's acquired, and the properties include a farmhouse with chicken runs, 3 flats, and another farmhouse again, I believe, a Crest Lodge as well. I wrote it down. So 2 farms within 7 years, 2 farms. Crest Lodge, 3 flats in the high cost area. And according to reports, Chiyeso Lungu stated that the reason why she's acquired all these properties worth 9 million kwacha, bearing in mind she's never had a job, never had a pay slip, is because her father gifted her. Her father helped her acquire those properties. So according to reports, there is no evidence of any pay slips from her father or working for government. There's no evidence of bank transfers to show that the father gifted her those funds. There's no evidence of even a check or any transaction. So how did Chiyeso Lungu acquire properties worth 9.3 million kwacha? Do you know what that tells me? It tells me that Zambia is rich, very rich. But whoever is in position at all times, they don't care. They don't care about you. They only care about helping their families get jobs, helping their cadres get jobs, and then helping their families. Because for 7 years, this young lady was able to acquire all these, including Tasila Lungu as well, who was able to acquire properties, or is it the bush or forest worth 13 million kwacha? And people will see it as normal because she's the president's daughter. But for me, I don't see it as, she should benefit because just because your father is a president, you shouldn't benefit from getting things from the state. So how did Chiyeso Lungu get all these properties into her name? The houses are beautiful, guys. Absolutely beautiful. Jealous town. Even though it's a bit too late, like it's been how many years? 3 years, she's still enjoyed. The question is, what about the cadres? I haven't heard any cadre being arrested. I haven't heard anybody being arrested. Like, oh, okay, before we heard Bowman Lusamba was arrested, and then, oh, things died down. There was just a bit of, oh, he's got this lady, made this lady pregnant, all this. Because before the President Hakainde Hichilema became president, there was all these promises about how, we'll bring them to book and blah, 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 blah. But, it's difficult to bring them to book because these guys were smart. That's why Bowman Lusamba would always say that as long as, even though I'm not in power, the money that I have, it's like we're stealing for the future. And that's why he would even brag about how his wife had the most expensive perfume, which would cost 2.5 million kwacha. Okay. Thank you so much. Hi, Messi. Yeah, so let's go. So multi-million kwacha properties seized as a result of money laundering. I believe this money was given to Chiyeso Lungu in form of cash. For those of you who know the story of the Chinese, which we've tackled on YouTube, since 2021, 2022, we talked about how the Chinese were gifting the Patriotic Front thousands of dollars. So my assumption is that there was some cash that was just lingering around that was given to her. And in Zambia, we are a cash basis country. When you're buying things like sand, anything to do with property, building and everything, it's cash. Nobody goes with a checkbook or bank card to go and swipe for cement. We use cash. So it was like, okay, we're going to win even 2021. So collect this money. And 9 million, can somebody calculate? Let me calculate how much 9 million kwacha is. When we say 9 million, it sounds little. Let me say it in dollars or pounds. I'll say it in dollars or pounds. That's better. Okay, so let's calculate. So 9 million, which is 9 and 6 zeros, right? 6. 9 million divide, let me say in pounds, 30 kwacha. That's $300,000. Which, in fact, if the father was able to give her the money via bank transfers, like, from daddy to daughter account or inheritance account, it would have been easy to find these transactions and she would have gotten away with it. But in this case, the EFCC have asked for evidence. Show us evidence that this property belongs to you. There's no evidence. So $300,000, 300,000 pounds, about $400,000. It sounds like 2 or 3 Chinese guys. How, Mr. President, so here's $20,000, here's 30. So, oh, daughter, you're building, here's $10,000, here's 5. This is a lesson even for the people who are presently in government. If you're not smart in 2026, 2027, whatever year, the law will catch up with you. You must be smart. So, our beautiful lady has no evidence of pay slips, no pay stamps, nothing. So according to the EFCC, they have said that from 2013 to 2021, these illegal activities, building of properties is illegal activities. Guys, whenever you're buying properties, don't use your hard-earned cash without a bank transaction. Always do bank transfers. You don't know the future, because even the owner of the land, if there's even a family dispute, they can say, no, we didn't receive any money like that. No, we didn't. When? How? We don't know anything about this. They would say that. But in this case, no evidence whatsoever. Like, okay, at least Cecilia Lungu was receiving a pay slip of 2,000 kwacha, 205 as a counselor. And somehow, somewhere she could say, my father gave me this and that. But for her, there was no evidence whatsoever. Shocking. Apostle says, that's a lot of money. A lot of money. Trust me. And in this day and age where Zambians are really struggling, that's a lot of money. So I would like to clap for the current government for working. I've seen comments where people are saying, oh, the president's family is being targeted. Well, if you were smart when you were in power, just like Chiluba and his children, I don't think you would be in this case. You could have been doing the transactions properly. Like, okay, I've received 50,000 salary. How much do presidents receive? 100,000 a month. Here's money from my account to my daughter. Bank transfer from daddy to daughter. You would have been safe. But in this case, you were playing. You were not advised wisely, honestly. So I want to show you some pictures of what I have. Okay. So let me just read this article. So according to the article on Kalemba, Chiyeso Lungu'S forfeited properties will become a rehab center. So the government has decided that the forfeited properties will become a rehab center. We need to monitor this as well, because in as much as it looks good on paper, it looks good in use, it's going to be a rehab center, then come 7 months down the line, people in the present government are sharing, oh no, I'll have this piece of land. No, I'll have this piece of land. Who has the time? We only have 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen in 2026. And then they start sharing. We don't want that. So we need accountability from the current government. They need to give us reports. Who is using the rehab center? And it shouldn't be, oh, relatives, families are being employed from the current government. Oh, if you are part of UPND, go and be employed. No. There are so many young people who presently need jobs in Zambia. And this rehab center can help them. For example, the young lady that saved the life of, I always forget his name, our footballer, Calabar. I wanted to say another Calabar, but Calabar, the footballer, she's jobless. She doesn't have a job. And she saw him laying there, decided to get off the bus, helped him. There are so many young people like her who have good hearts and passion. They want to help, but they don't have jobs. So we need accountability. Who is going to run this so-called rehab center? And is it going to be open this year or next year or 5 years' time? Will it be part of a campaign? Oh yeah, we are planning to set this up as a rehab. Since it's already there, all you need to do is just put in 1, 2, 3, 4 facilities. We need to hear from the Ministry of Health as well, Ministry of Gender, because there's so many young people who are taking drugs, who are gambling, who have no jobs. Okay, so the National Prosecution Authority, NPA, plans to utilize, that's what they're saying, utilize the forfeited properties of Edgar Lungu's daughter Chiyeso as a rehabilitation centers for drug abusers and gender-based violence survivors. I didn't even read that, but I was going there. I had a feeling rehab in that line. So for drug abusers and gender-based violence survivors, how will they be taking these drug abusers to that center? Who's going to refer them to those centers? What type of, organization will be formed to support them? Who will be in charge? We need accountability, guys. It sounds very good on paper. It's very easy to talk, but action is not easy. Okay, so the NPA Deputy Chief State Advocate Margaret Chitundu made the announcement following an order by the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crimes Court, that the 2 farms with a high-cost house, 4 chicken runs, and 3 flats worth 9.3 million will be forfeited to the state. The house is beautiful, guys. I don't think anybody will make it into a rehab center. That's just my opinion. I don't think so. I don't think so. Honestly, maybe the chicken runs, but I don't think so. You know, because this is what has happened in the past before. Wow, Forest, what? We're going to come there. We're going to take over. And they're quiet. Oh, this Garing Combo, he speaks for the people of Zambia. He's quiet. Oh, it's very easy to talk, guys. But for me personally, between now and 2026, I don't think anything is going to happen. Like, personally, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. So the economic, let me just say EFCC, I've already told you what it is. So EFCC held that Chiyeso failed to prove that the properties were paid for by her parents. Like, seriously? Seriously? You couldn't prove that? Like, we thought you are smart. You are not that smart. Okay, so she failed to prove that they were paid for by her parents and failed to provide documentary evidence. Like, no evidence at all. Like, you don't know how to do bank transfer? Like, you don't know how to do... Did you think you were going to be in the position for life? Like, for the sake of tomorrow, man, do the right thing. Strange. You mean your father couldn't write you a check and say, this is to my daughter as a gift? Nothing. So there was no evidence at all. Like, she completely failed to provide evidence. When the director of public prosecutions established, you know, prima facie, yeah, so there was no evidence at all. Like, completely. Completely. Oh my God. And shifted the evidential burden on her. But I'm also wondering how the state got to know that she had all these properties. Like, did she have to make a declaration? Did anybody snitch on her? Were people jealous of her doing well? I don't think it's something that just happened like, oh, boom, 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 let's go and check the properties. Somebody told on her. Yep, that's how it works. Jealousy. For those of you who know the prayer path that we follow, we say people are jealous. They can do anything. So the NPA and the DEC had a site visit of the properties in State Lodge area on Chagwa Drive this morning. And funny enough, the property is on Chagwa Drive. Like, daughter, collect these properties and I will name the road Chagwa. Power changes hands. That's why you should be smart in everything, even in life. If you're doing well now, don't think your tomorrow will be the same. Invest for the future. Cover yourself. Make sure everything you're doing has got tracks. Document everything. Very important. So, rehabilitation for a beautiful house. So now let me show you the house. Beautiful. So that's okay. This is funny, right? I was trying to take pictures. So this is the road signage called Chagwa Drive. Like, these people were serious about life, huh? Very serious. Like, okay, so this is Chagwa Drive. We are in power, guys. So let's enjoy this. Zambians are still sleeping. And because we've put cadres there to make them fear about us. So they're not going to speak. And I'm surprised Zambians are quiet. Like, when PF were in power, Zambians couldn't speak. I would come on my platforms, I would speak, I would be fuming. Like, what's going on in Zambia? And now, you voted in President Hakainde Hichilema, I would expect people to be like, oh yeah, they are working. It's like people are tired of everything that is going on around them. They are fed up of load shedding, fed up of the fact that the economy is so tough. So they don't care what's happening around them. That's my observation. I didn't even see this. And that's why Zambians are entertained by entertainment rather than things like this. Like, okay, I don't care. After all, I stood in the queue for flipping 5 hours. In fact, I went there midnight, and only for me to be suffering still, and things are worse. I can't even afford a tray of eggs, so I don't care. So Zambians at the moment don't care, and UPND government has to take note. Why aren't Zambians caring about anything? You know, they're not caring. Like, I've not seen anything like this. Like, you know, people are not really sharing. Like, oh, have you seen this? No, because PF was really rough. And guys, in Mitumbi, in that area where we used to stay, there's a market. In that market, there used to be taxi drivers there, and to my little makeshift shops. Hey, UPND people have come collected. They've put their own shops there. They've chased away everybody, all the PF guys. So now I'm thinking, suppose UPND does not go through in 2026, what's going to happen? The next person will come, take over. Like, I just feel the whole issue of power is not for the people. It's for me. Especially the ones who are in the forefront, like cadres. I need to eat. It's my turn now. And that's why people are not bothered, I guess. And right now in Chingola, Copperbelt as well, there's high rates of HIV and AIDS because there's no jobs. The illegal mines have been shut down, taken from the youths, and there's no single piece of empowerment. There's high levels of crime, like theft in Zambia. So they were like, okay, even if they collect, then what? That's what I'm saying. Then what? Who cares? Okay, so State House looters. This was something that I saw. According to this report, Tarsila Lungu had a fish pond worth 13 million kwacha. Tarsila is young but rich as a councillor. Chiyeso Lungu, they're now saying 9.8. Some reports are saying 9.3. Some are saying 9.8 worth of properties. Esther Nyawali Lungu, $40,000. Wow. And 15 flats. Oh, people were busy, and yet Zambians were crying. We don't have food, we're hungry. Even presently, whether you or me like it or not, they are making money. People are busy, very, very busy. People have shares in the mines now. They are doing their own things. They are running their businesses. Even the ones who used to rant a lot, they are quiet. So everybody wants a cut in what they can have. But I like this, that, you know, it's not fair that she acquired all these properties worth 9.3 million. It's a pity. But if you want to acquire properties, you have to, you know, keep your record straight. That way, nobody will touch your properties. Okay? So Daliso Lungu, 59 high-value vehicles. And Milingo Lungu, 600 million kwacha. So like, okay, here son, collect. Here daughter, collect. Here daughter, collect. No, but like, people are not smart. Like, are you okay? So I saw the properties. So this is the house, guys. And I know you've seen images, but the bottom, those are flats. That's the house there. Garage with cars. So everything that they found there, they've taken it. Everything. They've taken everything there. Okay. 1 minute, let me get water. Okay. Let me get some water. Our floor is heated, so it makes your throat dry. Okay, so that's that. Then another thing that I saw was, now this made me laugh. This really made me laugh. What was she doing with bicycles in her house? Bicycles, like, are you okay? Like, bicycles. What is she doing with bicycles and boxes of TVs and things? And that's the house. Looks beautiful with a Ford Ranger there. I'm sure you've seen these pictures, guys, but our friends have been living large and they were not smart. And this was funny, guys. I came across this in the Mast, where apparently former President Lungu said, you can steal, but tabala tila ukulia nembuto. Tila ukulia nembuto. Or you can steal, but don't eat with your family. Apostle says, then I wonder even a mother of 4 children screaming at uka kwat. Yes. And I think Zambians are not smart. So I know regardless of, things are tough, I don't think Zambians will be unsmart to pick on the Patriotic Front. I personally feel that a government that, not a government, a political party which at least stands a chance is Socialist Party. And that's at least having even 40% of members of parliament. On the presidential, it's tough. But on the members of parliament, with everything that has been going on in Lusaka, with the Lusaka Central MP and scandals here and there, and people complaining they're not working, I doubt that most of them will return. Yep. So they called it a major victory. Can you call it a major victory? In overseas seeds. Zambia is rich, but fact is people are greedy. Yeah, Zambia is very rich. Hold on. Very, very rich. Zambia is absolutely rich, but people are very greedy. And that's why you find that people are in these high positions in government and then they don't last, because why should you be the one eating? That's why some people, they have to do what they have to do they have to fortify themselves to be where they are because of the same greed you're talking about. Okay, so they are calling it a major victory against financial crimes. But I'm just surprised that I've not heard any minister, former minister, under fire. I mean, Kezia Zulu, these guys used to brag, like they used to boast and talk all sorts of things on media, and they're laying low. Is there something we're missing? Like, have these guys spoken to someone and say, shh, don't talk about me? We don't know, but it's just surprising because those guys were so notorious, and those guys coming back in power, oh my God, it would be hell. Like, it would be hell. Nobody wants to have Patriotic Fund back. Never. No. Absolutely no. It's never going to happen. Okay? Let's manage what we have. For now, let's manage. Okay, so the properties have been seized. And then, let me check again. This one. So this article says, she said that the properties may be used as safe homes for orphans and street kids. So that's another thing. They are contradicting themselves. This is one thing I've seen about the UPND. They are so, like, disconnected from each other. This one comes to report this. Another one comes to report this. Can we stick to one thing? Like, are you going to make it into a rehab center for adults? Are you going to make it into a refuge home for gender-based violence, women? Now there's orphans and street kids. Like, where did the street kids and orphans come in the picture? I thought it's supposed to be for adults. So now, if they're now saying orphans, it means the Zambian youths who live in their homes, there is no hope for you. Can we be clear on what we'll be doing, please? Because it doesn't even make sense. Like, street kids and orphans, there's so many orphanages that can handle that. You're not going to make the place to be for street kids? How? 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 Okay, Esther says her eye is paining. No problem. Take care, darling. Okay, so this is what Chitundu says. Ideally, I don't believe this. Okay, you know, words sound very, very good on paper. Ideally, we have a committee of surveys which determines what would happen to forfeited properties according to the Forfeiture of Process of Crimes Act. When we forfeit property, it should be used to ensure that dispensation of justice is done. And here goes this word, chairman or what, who has not had, who suffered 27 years in UPND. Well, let us see how far this will go. Because as far as I'm aware, many people would want a piece of cake. Many want a piece of that. You just hear that, no, the youths took it, they were empowered. CDF has worked. Which youth you check? They are doing kawash there. You know, things that you just collect, inherit. I don't think you use them wisely. I doubt. I don't think so. Okay, so they're saying, you know, we have a crisis of junkies. It sounds very nice, but I don't believe this. Honestly, I don't. A crisis of junkies. We call them street kids. Okay. We have a high rate of unemployment in Zambia. Of more than 65% youths are jobless. You are talking about junkies and street kids. Like, what's going on here? Aren't we supposed to be giving employment to the youths who have nothing to do? Probably set up a center for them to be doing computing and other things. And what's happening to the science and technology ministry? Are the youths getting jobs there? Or because the last time I checked, it sounded like a brilliant idea, but I haven't seen anything that will draw me to say, let's see what's going on with the youths. So now this is gonna be for the junkies. Oh, come on, get lost. This is me doing my checks and balances. If you're not happy with what I'm doing, go and praise sing wherever you praise sing. On my page, we say it as it is. I don't think these properties are going to be used for the so-called junkies. Where the junkie is going to be taken from. It was a nice, brilliant idea. Okay, you've taken the properties. You've taken properties which are farms. You now want to take them in, turn them into centers for junkies. Like, why not continue the farming and empower the youths to be farming there? It doesn't sound realistic. No, I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy that. If you wanted to collect the property from Chiyeso, collect it and say you want it, and not claim it's going to be used for junkies. I don't believe it's going to happen. I don't think so. Trust me. This is so good news. It's all over media and everybody's excited about it. But after that, it will go quiet and divert. Our attention will be diverted to something else. Like, there's a crisis of junkies. Are you okay? There's a crisis of unemployment. There's a crisis of young people who are supposed to be working as nurses, teachers, some lawyers, some pharmacists, clinical officers. So you are now thinking of looking for junkies. So this is what they'll be doing. They'll be going to the streets. Come, you need to go to Chagwaya Avenue, High State Lot to go and live there. Nah, it's not going to happen. Trust me, it's not going to happen. If you say you're going to use this place for farming, for the youths to be empowered, trust me, it sounds believable. What is a junkie going to be doing in a farmhouse? Like, the junkies, this is what they're going to do. They're going to collect everything that they'll collect TVs, they'll collect doors, and sell and run away. What are you going to do? It doesn't sound like it's possible. Nah. A street kid, this is a sample now. You're now giving them a sample. They're going to, what? There's even cars there. They're going to steal tires. Everything there. Okay, you're going to collect youths from where? okay, that the ones from here. Okay, Bajabana Babandan, come. You are now there. Then parade, nah. It doesn't sound right. Make this place into a farming project where youths who are in each constituency or area, you know, those who formed, since you've been asking them to form cooperatives, if they can have a piece of, you know, 2 hectares, empower them with fertilizer and everything to be farming and teaching them farming skills. From there, they can expand their project. But it can be a cooperative farming thing. They can keep goats there, they can keep chickens, they can keep pigs, and a lot of them will be in employment. But bringing a junkie there and call it a rehab center, it doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. Because street kids have been there since Mama Vera Chilua time. They've been there in the streets. You cannot change those people. Those young ones, they are already destroyed. It's very difficult. They are taken to orphanages, they come out. So the best is to empower the young people who need support and help and jobs right now. You can have them registered. And the problem is there's no database in Zambia. That's the problem. For us to know who needs a job, which skill. Everybody just lives like, there's nothing like that, you know. Whereas here in the United Kingdom, there's a database. In the area where you live, if you don't have a job, you have a job center. They have your names, list of names. They have your details, your address, and they track you. Every 3 weeks, you go there, meet your employment officer to find out if there's any opportunity. So that way, you can go to the list of, okay, so person has this skill. You identify, you have a team to identify who can work there, who can be part of this project. But like this, like, you're just going to be picking random people, say, yes, come. And then there's so many orphanages, so many junkies everywhere. So this project cannot be for junkies, no. How? We call them street kids. We want to build rehabilitation centers. So you waited for how many years to build rehabilitation centers? It's not believable. I mean, you've been in government since 2021. Okay, let's give you up to 2022. Let's say 2023. So you waited for Chiyeso's house to be available to realize that you need a rehabilitation center. I don't believe that. It doesn't sound right. Like, I don't believe this. Tell that to the youngsters. You see, that's why even now we're on this topic. 20 people are watching. The youth are not interested in anything political because they know it's all a scam. Do you honestly think that this property will be used as a rehab? What happened to CDF? The CDF, I know people come and argue, oh, you are down, you don't know what is happening. CDF is being, why is the CDF? Shouldn't the CDF be helping people within their communities right now? Shouldn't the same communities be having their own rehabilitation centers? It doesn't sound right. So now, if each and every constituency, for example, has their own CDF and centers, means there's registration going on. There are youths who are talented, who've been identified by the constituencies. That list compiled with all the 9 provinces and most of the constituencies, and pick up the talented ones, even if it's 5, and give them this place. From there, build more. From there, build some more and more and more and more. But like this, junkies, whoa. Okay, so we want to build homes for victims. Okay. Like, seriously? You want to build homes for victims. So you waited for Chiyeso's land to be available to build homes for victims. It doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right at all. This just sounds like a very nice tale to make people believe or think the government is working. No. It's not possible. So it's going to take you 2 years to build? Because I know in 2026, if you're not in power, what are you going to do? Leave it for the next person. So it will take you how many years to set up this? I don't think so. I don't think so. You could have just said we've seized and the government will decide on what to do better. You know, when you talk too much, this is where people now start quoting you. Say, but you promised this, you promised this, you promised this. They're saying to build homes for victims, GBV crime women, so that it is one of those things that is in place and could be used for. It's a lie. It's not going to happen. You have, look at this, there is high rates of GBV in Zambia, Lusaka, Copperbelt, all the provinces throughout the year. So since 2021, there's been high rates. So some of them have even passed on. Some women have been, unfortunately, they've been unalived. Some men are in prison and everything. So you mean you waited for 3 years to suddenly realize that GBV centers are needed? No. Zambia has massive land, massive. I mean, just the American embassy alone, they were able to build that big embassy. And it's not even their country. What about us Zambians? You mean we can't make rehab centers in each and every constituency? No, it doesn't sound believable. It sounds too good to be true. Like, no, I don't think so. I don't think so. Talking too much is not good. So it's a major victory crime. So after it being a major victory crime, the plan is that the state is going to use most of the criminally acquired properties for positive purposes such as building rehabilitation. Are we in the same country? Like, are you sure this is going to happen in Zambia? Like, for real, in Zambia, this will happen? I don't think so. We've got houses that were built that are near the stadium, and they were meant for people who, like, you know, us to buy them as Zambians, and people have failed to buy them. So the properties owned by this young lady, like, Zambia is so big, I don't think it can harbor 100,000 children there, 100,000 youths. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. So it doesn't sound believable. There's a crisis, so you waited for a house to be available. If you knew there was a crisis, bang on, you enter 2021, the first thing, let's start the centers, there's a crisis. By 2022, everything is done. By now, the president would have been commissioning this. But now we're seeing embarrassing images of the president commissioning those small toilets. I don't even know what to call those things. By now, that's what we should be hearing. The president has commissioned this rehab center. The president has commissioned this tailoring center. The president has commissioned this car, whatever, automotive mechanic training center. You know? You waited 3 years? No, it doesn't sound right. Okay. So those are the properties. For the fact that they were chicken runs, use them for chicken running, because they were built for that purpose. They were not built for people to stay in there. They were built for chickens. So put in chickens, empower young people, show them how to fish, how to catch the fish, instead of giving them the fish. That's the best way. Okay, so that's the story, guys. Okay, so another article says, a dare for the Catholic priests who like condemning HH and his government. Now, I always wonder why the UPND government and the media people try to bring in the Catholics in everything. Like, Catholics have been speaking about issues for a long time. The Catholics worked hard to make sure that the UPND were in government now, because they would speak about issues. Should they stop because now that UPND is in government, they should stop? No. If they notice anything, that is the purpose of the church. The church should stand for the rights of the people and speak up. Not when somebody speaks, is preaching, you are summoning them to the police. To do what? That time I saw Father something, he was summoned. He was preaching. That's what they were doing. And the Catholic people used to support UPND so much. So you will not wake up today and say, they like on them. They've been doing that. Catholic on its own is like a government. Catholics are powerful, man. You want Catholic to stop talking today? They've been talking since 1871. They should stop because UPN is in government. They're not going to stop. They've been talking for a long time. If you remember, one of the fathers even died. That a very amazing man that used to speak. I've forgotten his name. But he passed on. But he kept on fighting and advocating of the injustice that was happening. So you're not going to stop the Catholic people? Oh, a dare for the Catholics to condemn. What is the Catholic going to say? Oh, the president has managed to collect a process of crime. The daughter to the president had this house. No. What have you worked in the past 3 years? Where are the centers? There is hunger in Zambia. Zambians are suffering. They are struggling. They're complaining. And they can't speak because if they dare speak, they're being intimidated. And everybody is complaining. There's no business. Things are not moving. The dollar rate is high. The pound rate is high. Goods are expensive. Zambians that used to have 3 meals a day cannot even afford 3 meals a day. They're having 2 meals a day. We're talking about an average Zambian that votes. The ones that don't vote don't even care. They are enjoying their life. They don't care the rate of the dollar or what. But these people who vote, who fight, are the ones whom we need to look after. So what is all this about? So the Catholics should talk about what? No, they're not going to say anything. The Catholics will continue to preach about how load shedding is taking place. How can we have electricity not being there, no power from 9 o'clock? And the power is reinstated at 7 o'clock. Like, what business would run like that? Like, I'm talking from experience because we have fridges. We don't even connect the fridges. There's no meat. Everything is going off. So let's talk about how best we can work together than pointing at, oh, what are the Catholics going to say? It sounds childish if you ask me. Very, very childish. Who's interested in that? Okay? Former President Lungu'S daughter, we are waiting for the Catholic priest Chiyeso Mukosa and his friends on Sunday to comment on the family. Like, okay, you are waiting for the Catholic priests. Do you know who the Catholic priests are for you to come and add them in your so-called posts on Facebook? Like, do you know who the Catholics are? Like, even here, the Catholics, they control the world, man. So be careful how you speak about the Catholic people. Okay? Like, Chiyeso and their friends. How can you call a priest, a clergyman, and friends? Like, who do you think you are that is posting rubbish like that? Have some respect on preachers, man. Like, have respect. Because you're in government, suddenly you don't feel like respecting these people. They were fighting for you. Subliminally sending messages all the time in churches. Make sure you vote right. They would say that. Make sure injustice to Akana, cadarism to Akana. Today you want to say, Father Chiyeso and friends, this so-called South media team, respect yourself. What's that? We are waiting for them to comment on the thieving of national resources. I don't think it was actually like thieving of natural resources, like I've said. He's a president. People come to him. President, he has 10,000. He has 5,000. He has what. And for me, what I know is, regardless of whether, yes, you found that it's process of crime, right? But there are people we've seen, like the former president, Chiluba, whose children had nothing. You know, these ones, they are even smart. The only smartness they didn't have is to make sure there was transactions, bank to bank. Oh, daddy, you've given me this. Write something. Let your lawyer sign to say you've given me this property. That's the only thing. Otherwise, these girls are too smart. Like, who acquires 2 farms, 3 flats, a hotel, and a very nice house in 7 years? Even just to build one house can take you 4 years. So they were smart, but didn't know how to do things better. So somebody must have said, oh, check on these people. And this is what they've discovered. So as for the promises of what the properties will be used for, I don't believe they'll be used for rehab. It's not true. It's not going to happen. Yeah, it won't. Never. It's just there to make you people feel nice. It's not going to happen. There is no time. Next year is 2025. Everybody will be busy campaigning. You understand? Everybody will be busy campaigning, and I don't think there'll be time to start putting a rehab center in place. And then, because you know that this year is already gone. We're in April. It's already gone. Like, it's gone. By April the other year, we'll be filing in. The president will be filing in with people, and those who want to stand, us will be there to comment. Okay? So, so it's all about abuse of power. So when you're in power, it's advised to everybody, make sure you put your things in order, in place. Okay, Jocelyn is asking about if you want to come to UK. I've done videos to say at the moment the UK is not the best place for you to come to, because the government has removed the ability for you to bring your dependents. So what are you going to come and do here? So I advise that the best places for you to go to is Canada, Australia, New Zealand, France, some European countries like that, and I said Germany and America. Otherwise, no. So guys, that's what I wanted to just discuss. I found it really interesting, and the so-called process of crime, illegal activities forfeited by the state. In my personal opinion, I don't think that these properties will be used for what they're saying, because I'm sure there's title deeds there and things like that. By the time you do the transfer, you know, it's government things are slow, they drag. Like, I've been waiting for something, some title deed. Oh God, you are dragging. Like, you've been waiting since 2021. This thing's not coming out. So now, by the time these things are transferred, no way not. This will now be filed somewhere. And maybe some youths will say, honorable, to right, no problem. Go and start the chickens. By the time the documents and the transfers and everything will be ready, we're talking about next year, December or something. And then you only have 6 months to campaign. No, when we're in power, you see, we confiscated these properties. Yeah, we are now going to make them in a rehab center. And of course, you're going to believe, because words are sweet. Politicians are very sweet mouth. They will tell you all the good things you want to hear. And I don't know, you'll be blinded at that time, because I don't know what comes on everybody's mind at that time. So, aye. Then another 5 years, you'll be in my inbox. Madam Lily was safari. Many people can't talk, but my inbox, the messages I receive, people are suffering. On a serious note, the current government has tried to do what they can, but me, in all honesty, I've not seen something remarkable that can say, wow. All I've just said is debt restructuring, debt what. They collected money here, and people just praising. They don't even understand what it means when you collect 30 billion somewhere in order for you to clear this. They don't even know, because it sounds very big English. They just start clapping. It's easy to talk when you're not there, but when you're there, it's tough, because you find a lot of protocols in place, a lot of things in place. And I'm only disappointed about something, because every time we used to go to campaign, I used to say, where are we going to take President Hakainde Hichilema? We're like, State House. State House. And he's never lived there. This is the first time in the history of Zambia that a president who is elected in office has never lived in the State House. And that's breaking protocol. Like, this is what makes Zambia to be Zambia. The president needs to live in the Senate. Oh, no, he doesn't have to. What is he going to do there? It's what we have been accustomed to as a country. You understand? You must live there. Pray for the house. Anoint it and live there and still visit your house. Do you know it costs more than, if I start telling you the figures it costs to transport the president daily from his house to State House, it's a lot of money because he needs state security. Few hours in the car, cars, workers, daily. It's a lot of, it's not 50 kwacha. It's not 10,000. It's not 50,000. It's hundreds per day. It costs a lot of money. I remember the president would say, I'm going to sell the private jet. Mr. President, sir, have you sold the private jet? You're not, sir. Jason, come on. Somebody's telling me I'm not in Zambia, but I come to Zambia 3 months. I stay there. I come to Zambia like 4 times a year. And stay there for a total of 6 months. Yeah. Zayn says he is not the right person to go there. You always say life is spiritual. Spiritually is not accepted. You have been given the power to be in this position. It's a must. Stay in the State House. Understand? It's costing a lot of money. And because it's costing a lot of money for the state, we are running in so much debt. Like there's no money in the system. No money in the system. Zambia is tough. I know what I'm talking about, guys. It's so tough. It's so tough. And we cannot be always, we are Christians, so we say, God will help us, God will help us. But again, God will help us if at least as well, our people are also doing their best to help us. You understand? Somebody said, hey, somebody saying that JP is still alive. I'm talking from Malawi. Oh, no, he died, brother. You didn't see the videos. It's normal. Zayn is watching from New York. Junior Pop is not alive. Oh, he died. Okay? It's sad. We want to forget. Please, it's very painful. So, it's good. But, you know, a lot of people, they just don't want to. I know one day some will watch this. And in all honesty, people are suffering in Zambia presently, and we cannot be blaming the former, you know. And in everything that is happening, the target is always on the former. Like, okay, let me go to the child's property. Let's see, you don't have property. Look, you see, we've gotten this, so we're going to make it into a center. Like, can we do something that is so significant to help the people of Zambia? The schools, free education. But there's like 300 pupils in class, suffocated, like no desks. Talk is cheap, you know, but when you're there, it's tough. So the best is to do as much as possible to help the people. There's no time. Time is gone, like gone. This year is already gone. We already have 1 year. This year is gone. We only have 1 year left. And to always refer to the former all the time. President Lungu, I can't lie, he did his best. I am for one person that would always come on media and say, oh, President Lungu, Kadarism. What killed that man was Kadarism. Otherwise, there was money in the system. These are the discussions that people who are in Zambia now, they will even tell you, even people who are close to the government. They just can't say on media. They can't speak, because if they speak, there's a lot of trouble for them. So they say, to be honest, there was money in circulation. But now money is so tough to have. And then being told more lies like this to say the house will be converted into a rehab, it doesn't sound believable. Honestly, I'm not buying that. It doesn't. Nope. It doesn't. We've had so many GBV cases for the past 3 years. Why wasn't there any center open? Why wasn't there any street kid center open? Why haven't we seen many desks in schools? Why haven't we seen children being given free sanitary pads in schools? Like, what's going on? And when we speak, we are called names. And when we are silent, we are made to look like we don't know anything. Somebody saying no sound. Maybe it's you, Elijah, switch it on and off. Can you hear me? Elijah says, and the bad part is when he's dropped home, the cars has to go back to State House. Then the following day, follow him again to pick him. Like, why can't they park at State House? You understand? All those are unnecessary expenses, which could have helped the people of Zambia. So we are transporting one person all the way from their house, personal house, to go to State House. And then transport him back. And then the cars go back. Like, what's going on? Is that how it is? You understand? We were always saying we want HH to go to State House. We want HH to go to State House. But he never made it there. And now, we are made to believe that forfeited properties will be used as a rehab center. You are telling me that Crest Hotel will be used as rehab center. Like, seriously, a hotel that is running with workers, money comes in, will be made into an orphanage center, street kid center for junk. Come on. Tell that to the birds. Tell that to the birds. It doesn't even sound realistic. All I know is this thing will just change hands and other people will be running it. We'll be talking about other things. But things are tough that we don't speak. We are talking maybe about entertainment. Does not mean that we don't see. There's a lot we have observed. Talk of the minimum wage. It's never been increased. How much is an average Zambian earning right now? And those are the people who queue up to vote because their hope is to see change in Zambia. And then they're thrown at the deep end. Life is so tough. Guess what happens? Prostitution is a solution. Presently, that's the solution. And what does prostitution come with? HIV and AIDS high rates. How can we have 1.5 to 4 million Zambians living with HIV and AIDS? Over 1 million people are currently on ARVs. Why? Because there's nothing for people to do. Nothing. No structure. No employment. People are just surviving. However they can survive. And even if you encourage them to pray, what are they still going to eat? Those are the questions they ask. Yes, go pempe la tifuno pempe. Manje tizadia chani. Nothing in place. Nothing, no system to help people. And it's today that you remember to go and call junkies. To say, come, I've got a rehab. That's not true. It's not going to happen. I used to say this. From my observation, even when I was part of the political campaigns, I said anyone who cannot help you before they go into power, they will never help you when they go in power. And that's what has happened. That's what has happened. Because, you know, they always say charity begins at home. You cannot practice what you don't know, what you've never done. And some people would say, oh, she's just giving the eggs to people because she just want to. I've never stopped rendering up because it's in me. Even when I say, I'm tired, something will just come up and say, I need your help. It's in me. So most of them, they've become filthy rich. The only good part is they don't float on social media like the Bowman Musambos used to float. But they are doing so well. Their family members have got jobs. Believe it or not. They are working. They are in positions. They've been given teacher jobs, nurse jobs. They are pushing their names there. Whilst you suffer. And when we speak, they will insult you from head to toe. I haven't started politics yet. 2025. Here we are starting. We are just keeping banking what's going on. Then we'll start our real checks and balances. You can't promise people what you've never delivered. It's today you have you are telling us that CDF is worth 23 million kwacha plus pay constituency. You are now telling me because of 9 million kwacha property is when you're going to do center. Why didn't you use the 23 million kwacha per constituency to do these centers? At least you could have collected 9 million from that to start a center. It's not possible. This is all to just sugarcoat. You turn a hotel, Crest Lodge, to a rehab center. Women's during COVID-19 in the United Kingdom, hotels were closed. So me, I traveled during COVID. I would travel back and forth because my husband was then in Zambia. And when we would come back, we would stay in hotels. And the hotel was £1,700 per person. And then they would add additional £500 per child. So you would have something like £2,000 a bill. And when they ran those centers, they would say, oh, don't worry, you can pay later. They had all major hotels in that. It became like a business. Where are they? They are closed. They took over people's hotels, made them into COVID-19 centers. You can't run a hotel into a rehab or whatever you're looking for. Even in Great Britain here, they failed. Everything shut down. All those COVID-19 centers, they closed. They're now running as businesses. They're back to hotels. So you can tell people who want to read this news that there will be centers, but I doubt. I don't think so. Ida said, I remember you helped us spice the business. God bless you. I used to be part of money for plates for my wedding. All right. Oh, congratulations, Ida. Yeah, so we try. Even here, right now, it's quite tough in the UK. And the most annoying part is when people, when they will say, oh, it's the whole world. You are saying the whole world, but the UK government is saying, if you are, for those people who are struggling, we are going to send them each person £400, £1,000. In America, they were giving them $1,000 each from each person. So in the house, if you are 6, each person 6,000 in the house. But in Zambia, there's nothing like that at all. I was asking about even campaigns such as abstinence, HIV and AIDS and things like that. And I was asking, I've never heard those campaigns in a long time. And people complain that in all honesty, those things don't really exist as much as they used to before. We have videos of people being asked for their body for 50 kwacha, for 20, as little as 20 kwacha, because they want to buy a meal. Mealie meal is expensive. And I want to commend President Edgar Lungu, former president. There's a guy who did a video talking about how things are expensive. There's a video, picture. He was holding to my Pamela and cooking oil, you know. And President Lungu said he's going to give that person 5,000 kwacha and they'll give him some mealie meal. He is acting like that because he's now in opposition. When he was in government, President Lungu was quiet. He was mute. He never spoke about anything. And I would always wonder, like, does he really know what's happening to the people of Zambia? So he's also just politicking. Politics is crazy. Like, you don't even know what people think of. 1 minute they are goody-goody. Once they're in position, they show their venom. Like, I'm in authority. You can't speak about me. Who are you? I'm in charge. I've said this, that the president has even taken long, the government has taken long to confiscate such type of properties. 3 years later is a long time. These people have still enjoyed and still kept money somewhere. Because now they know that they're imposed. It's taken too long. It's been too slow a process. I don't think this 9 million kwacha property is the only thing. Probably has some money stashed somewhere in Dubai or somewhere. Because they obviously saw it coming. That it's going to come. Believe it or not. There are some people who are working in government, but they are even snitching and telling President Lungu. We are in Africa. Africa. Hey, they can sell you. With the way things are tough now. Yeah. President Lungu still has money. He will just, oh, okay, There are people obviously who are even giving information within. They are selling information. This is what is happening. This is what is happening. They are going to come for you. Be ready. By the time they are coming, they have already stashed all over. Yeah. There are some things some of us we've seen that we cannot say on media, because if we say, people are planning, very soon you'll see people that will be leaving Zambia. That's an observation for another day. Just remember that I've said that. They're planning. Every day, they're looking for ways to leave. Because nobody wants to be in a situation where they're in opposition and they don't know if their property will be taken from them. So they will try by all means to leave the country. So guys, that's all I wanted us to talk about. Today I was all political. I just want to talk about this because then from here, I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel. My YouTube subscribers love political stuff. If I post this video on YouTube, it will be 10,000 views. Because my YouTube channel became so political. So they love this. So personally, Elias says he wants to go to the UK. To do what, sir? So personally, I feel it's a good thing that has happened, since there was no evidence of the proceeds of the properties, how they were acquired. So it can be classed as a process of crime. And Chiyeso didn't play her cards right. So the government has decided to forfeit all the properties, and they've been classed as acquired through illegal activities from between 2013 to 2021. And as a result, the state will now use the properties for their own use. And according to them, they have a promise to turn into this beautiful farmhouse, beautiful property, beautiful chicken runs into rehab centers. And I'm saying on this page that I don't believe that is going to happen. It's just a promise to make everybody feel happy that they have acquired. But I've not seen any excitement on social media, which is good, because we Zambians have been known to be celebrating people's downfall. So it hasn't been much celebrated. The only thing, like, I think I commented was like, well, it's about time, but it's been a long time coming. How many more properties are out there that need to be acquired? What happened to Forest? Forest 47, Forest what? 21? It's quiet. Nobody's even talking about it. And then we have people who are in government who have recently had scandals, and nobody has dared to resign. Like there's no conscience. It's all about me, I'm keeping my job. I don't care whether Valerie Vanko and her family are mourning. I need my salary. There's no that feeling for remorse or anything like that. So there's been so many scandals and they've been ignored. Yeah, so guys, take care. Elias said he wants to work in the UK. If you're married, Elias, it's not a good place to come. I've been saying this, that the government has changed the rules. If you want to come and work in the United Kingdom, you cannot bring your family. And the work permit is about 5 to 10 years. What are you going to be doing here, leaving your family? Go to places like Australia, New Zealand, Canada, USA, Germany, France, Netherlands, Luxembourg. I'll do a video about that soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care. And let's see how far the Chiyeso properties will go. We'll wait to hear a report of what's happening. We want to see the rehabs. They would like to see the youths that will be going there. Would like to see the hotels, the Crest Lodge. That's in a very posh area, which is called State Lodge. State Lodge is where people from government officials, that's where they acquired properties. So I don't think it's even an ideal place to have such a type of thing there, because you are now going to compromise on the safety of the people who live there, who have genuinely paid for their properties to stay in State Lodge. So let's see how it will work. With that, guys, thank you so much for tuning. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, it's Lily Motams TV on YouTube. Facebook, Lily Motams TV. On Instagram, it's lilian.botambo. And we have hit 10,000 followers on TikTok. So it means we can do some more videos. A lot of things that I'll be doing there on my TikTok account. It's very important that as young people of Zambia, we get to speak about these things that affect us. And we need to be checking and monitoring what is happening. Are these promises just to entertain us or just to make it look good on paper? Or are these promises truly going to come to pass? If they are going to come to pass, we shall wait and see, and we'll report back to say, oh, truly they meant it. But from my observation, I don't think Chiyeso Lungu'S properties will be used for rehab centers. I don't think so. There's simply no time for that. There is no time, trust me. Because by the time you have to put a young person in the rehab centers and you start investigating their case, helping them go to school, this and that, we're talking about, this is a 5-year process. So I don't think so. I don't think so. So thank you so much for joining me on this live stream, and see you on my next video as we talk about different things. We talk about church, politics, social, entertainment, only if it affects life spiritual. That's when we talk. We just don't talk anyhow. Take care, guys. I love you so much, and hopefully you can send me as well some inboxes of important topics that you wish for me to tackle. It's always important as well for me to catch up with what's going on. I do my research and then I can speak about these things. Take care, guys. I love you, and see you on my next video. Bye.